Well, I'm here. I'll give you a little pro tip. I learned this kind of the odd way. I was at a contest in Hungary. I'd been a pro for many, many years, and I was competing as a pro in Hungary. And it came down to stones. And I mean, when you're flying and all your other friends are driving, this was back before we had text messages, and that was it. Or you sent an email, and you ask one of your buddies, hey, who's bringing tacky? And you get 2 or 3 guys say, yeah, I'll bring a jar. Why would you bring one? Because you bring a jar, you end up throwing it away. Because you don't want to fly back with a jar of tacky that looks like that. And what if it explodes in your suitcase? But I'd done stone. I went out and asked my buddy, a good friend of mine, a really, really good friend of mine, and I was staying with him. And I went over to do stones, and I went out and I asked to borrow his tacky. And I mean, of course. So he went and grabbed his tacky and handed it to me. So I tackied up and went out and did stones. Heaviest stone I think was a 500 or 50 something, 230, short platform, 230 kilogram stone as a 5th stone. They were real small diameter, so it favored people with wingspans like me. Got second in stones only to Irvin Gatona, and I celebrated and ran, and I mean, he carried, you can see him in the videos and in the photos, he's carrying the jar of tacky with me as I'm doing stones in case I need some more during my run. And so I finish. I'm just thrilled. I mean, you have no idea how excited I am. It was my comeback contest after being sick for a few years. I ended up on the podium, and I get the tacky off of it. Everyone's congratulating me, and he walks over and taps me on the shoulder, and he says, Clint, I'm going to need you to clean this. And I'm thinking, I'm your best friend here anyway. You're my best friend here. We're hanging out together. I borrowed your tacky. I just beat everyone except for a World's Strongest Man finalist and a multi-Arnold, athlete. You can't even say congratulations. You just say, here, you need to clean this. But, honestly, he was right. It's his tacky, and I'm the same way. It's his tacky. He let me borrow it. If he didn't let me borrow that tacky, I could have been running around for the next 15, 20 minutes trying to find some tacky. I might have got some crap tacky, or I might have got no tacky at all by the time they called my name to go out there. I should have at least went over with his jar of baby oil, a towel. I could have brought a tacky towel to the contest. I could have brought, a small bottle of, travel-sized olive oil to clean this off with. But then, it doesn't take much to take a minute and take someone's tacky bottle, because it's terrible. You get tacky off your hands and you get clean, and then someone's got to take the jar and put it back where it belongs. But just to take the jar and cover it with whatever you use as tacky cleaner. It's once you're clean, it's terrible. Especially if it's your place, and you finished stones earlier, you weren't even doing stones to begin with, and a group of guys come over to do stones at your place, and they use your tacky, which, I mean, it's there for them to use. You said okay, but then they leave the jar out somewhere, and you, who's probably already cleaned up, maybe going somewhere with the wife or husband or whatever, maybe it's time to go eat, and you walk out there and you have to get your hands completely nasty just by picking up the tacky jar that was left with tacky everywhere to go put it back where it belongs. So if you borrow someone's jar of tacky, at least get the fresh tacky off. If you can get the fresh tacky off, and it's basically off now, all the tacky that's left on here is the tacky that's been on there since I opened this probably 6 weeks ago. And it's done. And I take the towel, wipe it off. And if you've got a designated gym tacky towel, you can set it on that towel, and when it's time to go put it away, that person can grab the towel and go put it away without getting completely and totally nasty. So that's my story and pro tip for you when it comes to tacky and etiquette. Trust me, there are many, many stories when it comes to tacky and etiquette. But that's an important one, especially if a buddy lets you borrow his tacky.